Hey guys, it's Big Mike, and I wanted to show you a few things about using the forum. So I'm going to talk about the different sections of the forum. I'm going to talk about the question board on the forum homepage. I'm going to talk about how to start a new thread and reply to an existing thread. I want to show you how to mention a username, and I'll tell you what that does and why it's important. And then last, I'm going to talk about using the thanks button and my obsession with the thanks button. All right, so let's get started. The different sections of the forum, okay? So this is the forum homepage. And if we scroll down, we see a list of forums. So the topmost, and I'll get my highlighter here so we can easily see what I'm talking about, that the topmost categories, I usually find myself referring to those as just the regular forums. Whoops, I didn't draw very well on that. And then the ones below that, I generally refer to those as subforums. Okay, that would be all these, and all these, etc. Just so we got the lingo straight. So in Trader's Hideout, it's pretty much the central place for most everything on the forum that is not related to an indicator or a specific platform, and is not a elite thread. Okay. The platforms and indicators section is where everything goes. If you're talking about a specific platform, if you have a question, how do I do this with NinjaTrader? Does anybody have this indicator for TradeStation or multi-charts, etc. The download section is where finished indicators and strategies go, mainly indicators, but there's also PDFs and books in that section. Then, of course, journals, that's pretty self-explanatory. Psychology, money management, pretty straightforward. Feedback, off-topic, pretty straightforward. And then, of course, the elite section where people can post only if they have elite access. And there's about 30,000 posts there right now. I'm making this recording May 2011. Okay, so I also want to show that when you go to the platforms and indicators section, and let's say that you choose NinjaTrader. Well, before I click, let me scroll down and just take note that there are threads and topics down here below. So like if there's a platform being discussed that there's not a specific section for up here at the top, if I can talk, it'll be down here at the bottom, so be sure that you know that. But let's say that you're wanting to check out some things with NinjaTrader. So down at the bottom is the list of all the threads and topics for NinjaTrader. But back towards the top, you'll see there's a special section for programmers. And then just some links to make it easy to jump straight to the indicators for NinjaTrader and then the elite indicators for NinjaTrader. The programming section, and that goes for all of these. There's a NinjaTrader one. There's a Investor RT, Easy Language for TradeStation, Thinkorswim. There's special ones for every platform. It's really meant only for programmers, okay? So this is not where you would post, you know, hey, does anybody have this indicator? This is really where you would say that you're having a problem or can someone help you solve something, etc. Let's go back to the top. The question board is the second topic. So up here on the top right is the question board. All this right here. It's a unique feature for BMT. And really the reason I created the question board, and there's a bunch of frowns right now, all these are new today and they haven't been answered yet. You can click on more and get more of them. You can see the smiley faces are questions that have been answered. And the reason that this was created was to help people that are not very familiar with using forums on the internet, people that aren't as technically up to snuff with how to use forums. And it's just a very, very simple way to ask a question. So you click Ask a Question, try to pick the appropriate category. Okay, so if it's a NinjaTrader question, click NinjaTrader. If it's a broker question, click Brokers. If it's a question related to Netflix stock, then click Stocks. Okay, then just type your question, and then the last thing is you summarize it, and it says see above examples. So these are all the summaries. They're really the titles of the threads. So you can try to keep it short, 5, 7, 8 words maybe, and then in the body is where you ask the actual question. If you're an advanced user or if you're familiar with using forums, then you may not want to use the question board, except that it does draw attention to your topic because it puts it on the front page for about a day or so until new questions have been asked and it gets pushed down the list. I wanted to actually go back and just show you an example of an answered question. So let's click on this one. And you can see right here, this post has been selected as an answer to the original poster's question. And this option, that you won't be able to see it right here, but if you were the person asking the question, like that man from Texas, then whenever Red Rat Sal made this reply, that man from Texas sees a box that looks very similar to this blue box that allows him to select this post as the answer. Otherwise, back on the home page, you continue to have a frown. But it switches to the smiley as soon as it's been answered. Okay, next I want to talk about starting a new thread and replying to a post. So the first thing you have to do when you start a new thread is determine what section that you want to put it in. So again, please take a minute and try to pick the most appropriate section, because when there's hundreds of thousands of posts and tens of thousands of threads, it really helps everybody if you try to help us keep everything organized. You can also use the search feature to make sure that the question has not already been asked and answered in the past. So like, for example, somebody earlier today wanted to know if there is a Skype group of people that get together on Skype. So before you start that thread, you should type in Skype up here on search and maybe check out these existing threads on Skype to make sure that you're not creating a duplicate thread. So once you've determined that the thread is okay to be posted, just pick the most appropriate category. So I'm going to just go to NinjaTrader, and then I'm going to click on New Thread. I want to highlight this so that everybody can be very clear. New Thread. And this button is at the top as well as the bottom of every page that lists threads on the forum. So let me click that. First thing I'm doing is giving it a title. Let's say that I'm making something up here because I don't use NinjaTrader. CCI indicator for NinjaTrader. And then notice when I skip down here to the body, it automatically did a search for me. Here are the similar threads we found. And it's doing a search on each one of these keywords. So again, this is really important. Try to make sure that you don't create duplicate threads over and over asking the same question when someone else has already asked and answered it. So down here in the body, just type your question. Try to be detailed. If there's an error message, be sure you include it. If you can attach a screenshot, then that's even better. If you really want someone to help, that's going to make it a lot easier for someone to help. And to attach attachments, you can click the little paperclip. It'll bring up a new window. The second option is to go down to the bottom and click on Manage Attachments. It'll do the same thing. Okay, so then you submit the thread. So now let me show you how to reply to an existing thread. So let me just pick a thread here at random. I'll pick this one up here. This is an upcoming webinar. Let me scroll down. Okay, so let's talk about replying to a thread and quoting people in a thread. So you see right here, Sam says, if you have any ideas, to let him know, if you have an idea about what he can talk about in this webinar. So what you can do is you can hit quote, and let me just make sure this is clear for everybody. So I'm going to highlight it right here, quote. And before I click it, I want to quickly explain the difference between quote and multi-quote. This one next to it. Quote is for a single post, and that's what you'll use 9 times out of 10. Multi-quote, when you click it, it just highlights it, and it allows you to click again and again on different posts. And then when you finally click the regular quote button, which I'm about to do right now, instead of it having just this one message quoted, it would have multiple posts quoted. Okay, so you can see here it's quoted Sam. That's what all this up here is. It's quoted Sam, and you can just take out the irrelevant part that you want to talk about. So like right here, for example, let's say that you're responding to him where he says, if you have any ideas, blah blah. Hi Sam. Yes, I've got a terrific idea. Okay, and then you would hit submit. So that's how you would quote an existing post if you want to talk about what someone has mentioned in a post. If you're just adding to the discussion and you don't really want to quote somebody, then you can click on post reply. And that, again, is on the top as well as the bottom of every single thread that you view. I'll go ahead and click post reply, and you can see I'm not quoting anybody. I can just make a generic reply and hit submit. The last thing about posting replies that I want to mention is using, it's actually called the mention system. So, this thread is new, and Sam is definitely monitoring it. He's keeping an eye on it. But let's say that there's a thread that, maybe is less likely that Sam is reading every single day. Or maybe you want to grab the attention of someone entirely different that's never even seen this thread before. You can use the mention system. And what you do is just put the @ symbol, this is like Twitter, put @ and then the username. So I could do @ let's say Sharky. And then, hey Sharky, blah. And what's going to happen is when I press submit, Sharky is going to get a new notification up here on the top right where it says notifications. He would have a new mention notification, and it would let him know that he should come read this thread. So it grabs his attention. So very useful. And basically it's just @ and the username. There's no space. Don't put a space between the @ and the username. Now if the username contains spaces, then go ahead and put them in there. So like @big space Mike, okay, because my username is 2 words. So it would work just like that. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is using the thanks button. So on the right of posts, you'll see this little thanks button. And this is kind of a pet peeve for me. You can see Sam right now has been thanked by 13 different people for this post. They've clicked that thanks button. And I've already clicked it. That's why it's not there. Once you click it, it goes away. And you can see my name. It's already there. The reason that I want to emphasize the thanks button is, when there's a couple 100,000 posts and thousands of users and all this stuff going on, sometimes it's a lot easier, you just want to say thank you to the guy for making the reply. It was a very useful reply. Hey, thanks, really appreciate reading that post. So click the button, and it lets them know, like Sam, for example, he's been thanked 1,069 times. So he's written 1,659 posts since he joined in June 2009. And out of those 1,659 posts, 1,069 different people have thanked those posts. And then in turn, Sam is very thankful. So when he's reading the forum and reading posts made by other users, you can see that he's thanked 1,500 different posts. So, be sure that you're being thankful to others in the time that they're spending to write out these detailed posts and do this research or help you with indicators, etc., answer questions. Be sure that you're being thankful and click the thanks button to let them know that the time is valuable to you, and it will help everybody because everybody wants to feel good, right? So you'll feel good about seeing that your thanks count is going higher. All right, guys, hopefully this has been useful to you. If you have any questions or feedback, just let me know. Make a new thread, make a post, ask a question, and I'll see you guys on the forum. Bye.